for a very brief moment.
Now that you put it that way, that is a hard one.
So, my answer was always forget. I love to read.
Yeah,
You
I
can
want
get
to do
lost in
this.
other people's worlds, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
because I want to know the story.
and that's my biggest thing because at the end, most books end on a positive note. Most books, end with some form of closure or some form of happiness. That's how stories are told, So I always know eventually things are going to work out. Unless it's like a biography and autobiography, those books don't always end well. Because it's the story of somebody's life, so they die. But and those are actually my favorite books. But I would rather always forget because I can always reread the book. I could reread the book over and over and over. Even if I only could reread the last chapters, at least I'll get to reread it. But if you could
Right.
only read the end of the book, you're never gonna know
Know
the
the
story.
Yeah, I would do that. Read the story because I have to know the story. I love the ending, but if I can't get the story, then what's the point of the end?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Now that I thought about it, that was really deep, but I didn't think it that deep. I was like, oh yeah, I want to end the ending.
So, well, and
Only
the
now.
only reason I put any depth into that is because we were talking about books.
No, I
If
was
you
talking
had
about
said the
the only
same thing
thing.
about
Yeah.
songs, I'd be like, oh, I don't care. Let me hear the end. Let me just hear the end. All right. So, next question.
The next question: would you rather eat?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, we're done with weather. Where does food ever eat?
She said that really fast, y'all. So it sounded like she said weather. But she didn't. She said, "Would you rather?" She just talks really country when she talks fast, so it always sounds like different words. Which you'll get used to. Don't worry.
Yeah,
So, what was the
definitely.
question? I'm sorry.
What is the weirdest food you ever eaten?
What is yours?
I don't do weird food, so only thing I could think of is like clams or something. I don't know if that's really weird, but I don't do weird. I don't do weird. I don't do weird. Like, what do you consider weird? Because I don't do weird.
So honestly don't know what other people consider weird. I don't eat a lot of stuff. I'm like the pickiest eater I know.
Yeah.
And I can't help it, and I don't care because it's my body, so I'll choose what I put into it.
Like, if I could eat a lot of pizza and every day, I probably would just eat pizza.
Because it's easy, until the doctors tell you can't eat pizza anymore. So anyways, the weirdest food I've ever eaten was shark tail.
Ooh, see, I would have never tried that.
So I didn't mean to. So I don't want to say I didn't mean to try it. I was like a late teenager, and I went somewhere with someone else's family, and that is what was put in front of me, and I didn't want to be rude and be like, no thanks.
You know what? I just had a thought.
What?
I do have a weirder food.
What?
Because I was tricked. Because, like, let me tell you a story. It's funny. My parents, well, I always say my dad, like, loved cooking and tricking us, me and my brothers. So he had cooked some meat that looked like chicken, fried it up like chicken strips, and he told all of us it was chicken. Like, so we was like, okay, me and my brother, we was like, we got chicken strips. It must be a bomb ass day because we got chicken strips. You don't usually get chicken strips. Well, you come up the way I came up, chicken strips was the world.
Right.
So,
It was a delicacy. Yep.
Yeah. So we was chowing down on chicken strips, and my dad just started laughing. He was just looking, and he had this look on his face. And I was like, oh my god. Because you had to watch him. He played around with food. He was the prankster. You get up and leave your sandwich. You come back, you got hot peppers on it. So I was like, what did you do to the food? Because I was like, it's not a sandwich, so it's no, pickles or hot peppers hidden in the sandwich or something like that. So I was like, I just thought he was like, you know what? You're not eating chicken. And I was like, what am I eating? And he just said, Bugs Bunny. And he didn't cut up a rabbit, fried it like chicken strips, and told all of us it was chicken strips, and we sitting here eating rabbit. But it didn't say chicken. But I was like, oh my god, that was funny.
So I've never had stuff like that. Like I've never had bunny. Ooh. See, I don't know how I would have done with that. So my best friend is a guy named George, y'all. And he's probably gonna get mad at me for saying his name on my podcast. He'll be okay. Um, but that's my absolute best friend, and I
I
have
believe it. Try.
a problem, right? I have a problem with animals. Like, I love them. Like, in fact, there's like kittens and Sheena's in front of her house that I've been trying to capture. And I can't even take the kittens home because my dog would eat them. But I have a pit bull at home, and she does like other animals. So, but I really like the kitties. Anyways, I got a rabbit, and the rabbit was around the house all the time, and my best friend was there, and he was like, either you get rid of that rabbit or you're gonna have bunny stew when you come home for dinner.
Whoa.
And I thought it was the meanest thing ever until I learned that like bunnies poop and eat and hop all day long, and that's all they do. So I did end up getting rid of it. The same day actually.
You were
um
like, don't cook the rabbit.
well, and that's kind of what I felt like. Don't do that. And he was like, no, you can't have this. So anyways, yeah, so she just around here eating bugs, bunny, and
Bugs Bunny. Tasty. Tastes like chicken.
I'm gonna tell Cam that you ate the Easter bunny.
Right, because he ain't gonna know who Bugs Bunny is. So.
Cam is her son, y'all.
Oh my God.
Ooh. Oh, that almost made me cry. That was so funny. I'm gonna tell him the Easter bunny.
Oh my God, I love the rabbit.
All right. So next question on the list is, and we're gonna wrap things up in just a few minutes, y'all. We got about 9 minutes left. So,
Yeah.
do you collect anything?
Ooh.
I do. So with that being said, I have a really strange obsession with coffee cups. I actually have them like hanging around my kitchen wall, like the door frame and stuff like that, because I have so many of them. It's the only thing that my boyfriend rolls his eyes at every time I purchase a new one. I actually purchased a new one here. It's in my bag in the back, because I couldn't resist when I was out of the store because it said something cute. Like I don't even remember what it said. My favorite cup it says curiosity coordinator.
Ooh, we might need to get some Ying and Yang.
That yes
And
we
sit and
do.
and sit.
You know, hashtag Team Ying.
Hashtag Ying Yang.
And then I also collect elephants, trunk up only, and then rocks. Crystals, rocks. They're my thing. I live in the mountains, y'all. So kind of comes with the territory, you know. If you live by the sand, you collect seashells. If you live in the mountains, you collect rocks. I love rocks though. And you can find real, non-cut, non-polished crystals out in the mountains where I'm at. So it's a really cool thing.
Yes, they are really beautiful too, and I need to come back up there and get some more.
But she won't come in the winter because last time she came in the winter, we like snowed her in and froze her. So my bad.
June, July-ish. So I'm not.
So what do you collect, Sheena?
Ooh, two things. I don't know what's is worse, but bro, I'm a writer. I collect notebooks. I have a passion for notebooks and journals, and if I see a hardcover notebook, I have to buy it. I don't care how much I have to.
Just so y'all know, she is not over exaggerating about this. If you see her like office space area, I can count. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're looking around the room counting. You're not gonna get a total number because I got some hidden.
There are 22 on her desk alone.
There's
She
some in the backup supplies
Oh,
too.
sorry. 23, 24, 25. There are 25 on her desk alone. So, with that being said, y'all have to know that she really has a problem. Sorry, she does not a problem. She collects them. She collects them.
It might be a problem because I don't use them. If I see them, if I see one I like,
She said, I don't use them.
well, I don't use them all at one time. It takes me a while to get through one notebook. You would think that I would stop buying them because they was like, hey, you got plenty of notebooks because I love to write. I'm old school. Like most people, like you don't use electronic technology. No, I write. everything. I'll write my whole book out and then type it up. Like, I know it's a lot of work, but I have to write it. I'm a writer. I have to write stuff down. So I do keep a lot of notebooks. I have abundance of notebooks. Like, I got enough notebooks. I probably could make it to 2023 if I never purchase one again, but that I'll probably purchase more tomorrow. But anyway, the other one I collect is pens. Like, I have a pen fanatic. And if you let me write with your pen and I love it, you better take it back from me because it will end up in my pocket going out the door with me
I
somehow because I will forget I have it in my hand
I
because
think
I'm
that's a
still
writer's
writing.
thing though, because I have now I don't have anywhere near as many notebooks as she does, but I have about 15 notebooks. Now they all have their own purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So I keep everything
but
separate.
I have an entire office filing cabinet desk drawer full of pens.
I love it.
So I get that.
And I have to write with a certain pen. Like, if I don't
I gotta
have
have
this
different color
certain
options is
pen,
my thing.
yeah, it gotta write smooth for me. Depends on what I'm working on. Like, if I'm in business, my professional
I
mode,
actually bought pens this weekend
yeah, me
for
too.
her. They weren't for me, for her. I bought her more gel pens.
I have a certain type of pen when I'm writing, my stories and stuff like that, and I just love pens, blue pens, ballpoint gels. If it writes good, I- I'm I'm going to buy. I was like, what kind of pen is it? Okay, I'm going to find it on Amazon.
All right. Our next question is,
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
which one are you?
Hmm. Hmm. I would say I got a little bit of both in me, but I would say majority I'm an introvert because I'm shy, reserved, and quiet. Once I get comfortable with you, I turn into an extrovert because like I will be comfortable, I don't reach my comfort level, and I'm talkative, and I will let you in. So there's a little extrovert tendency, but for the most part, like on the outside, going over to like reach that, I'm an extrovert. I'm really reserved myself. Introvert.
So I think you're an extrovert for people that you're close to.
Right, my inner circle.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So I'm kind of the opposite though. So I'm an extroverted introvert, which means I can go out with the best of them. You want to go to the club? Cool. Let me
Ooh,
go ahead and get
no.
myself together. We're going to go to the club.
Too
We're going
many
to turn up. We're
people.
going to have fun.
That's too much.
See? And
No, I
then
can't. I
I'm
don't
going to
like
go
crowds.
home. And for the next 2 days, I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't want no social communication from you whatsoever. Don't call my phone. Don't bother me. I don't care what happened. I don't know anybody at the club. I didn't see the dude you were talking to. I don't care about none of it. Because after I do that, I'm so exhausted mentally and emotionally. I can't do it for yeah. So I gotta have time in between. My entire family knows this about me. Like they plan things in advance so that I can know. And I'll ask questions like, well, how many people are gonna be there? And what should I wear? Like what am I expected to be dressed in? And things like that. Because I like to go out, I like to have fun, I like to be in the public eye, I like to stand out. However, it drains me emotionally and I have to take a couple days off. So that's how it works for me. The next question is, if you had a warning label, what would it say? So if
Interesting.
I had a warning label, it would say, can see right through you. I'm an empath. I can read you as you walk in the room. Um, and for those of you that don't know, empaths used to be a very not common thing. Now there are support groups and things like that for empaths. And don't let people confuse you. A lot of people be like, oh, empaths aren't real. They think they're psychic, da 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 da. But that's not really what an empath is. Something in your past caused some kind of trauma that forced you to be able to see things and hear things and notice things that other people don't typically pay attention to, like the vibes in a room or how a person talks a certain way when they're angry and
Mhm.
things like that. And because you can do that, you're able to read people very, very quickly and you're able to read a scenario in a room very, very well. It's actually a trauma response to your child. So Not to say that's always a bad thing or anything like that. I didn't come from like an abusive home or anything like that. So when I talk about past trauma, I need y'all to understand that past trauma can be things that other people don't always comprehend. My